Welcome and study with Tanzania Institute of Education.
Hello students, my name is Mr. Marcus Kipangure. Welcome to our lovely subject, biology. And today we are going to discuss the topic known as nutrition, but specific to the part known as food substance. But before going direct to our lesson, that is food substance, let us have a revision on what we discussed on the last period. On the last period, we discussed about nutrition. We saw that nutrition is the way in which living organisms obtain food and make use that food obtained to get what? Energy. Now today, we are going to discuss what are these food substances. What are these food that are supposed to be obtained by the living organism? That is food substance. Now, by definition, food substance are the materials which, when taken in, absorbed and utilized, they meet the need of the what? Of the living organism. So we say that food substance are materials which, when taken in and absorbed, meet the needs of the body. So food substance are the materials which, when taken in and absorbed, meet the need of the what? Of the body. Now, what are these food substances that are needed to meet the need of the body? We have got several kinds of food substances that are needed to meet the need of the body. But all of these food substances, they are divided or they are grouped into 5 groups. So we've got 5 groups of the food substances. So say they are divided into 5 groups. The first group is called carbohydrate. The first group is carbohydrate. The second group is called lipid. The second group is called lipid. The third group is called vitamins. The fourth group is called proteins. And the last one is called water. My dear student, these are the 5 groups of food substance that the body of the living organism needs in order to satisfy their needs. Let us start discussing one after another, starting with carbohydrate. Carbohydrates. Now, what is carbohydrate? Carbohydrates are the materials or food substances that are made up with carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So they are made up with carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So when you're talking about carbohydrate, are the food materials or food substances that are made up with first carbon, second hydrogen, and third what? Oxygen. And this carbohydrate you are talking about, sometimes they are called energy-giving food. Why they are called energy-giving food? Because they supply energy to the body, which used in different metabolic activities, such as respiration. Respiration requires energy, and the energy that is used in respiration comes from the food you are eating, especially what? Carbohydrate. Also in movement. Movement requires what? Food. requires energy, and the energy that is required by in the process of movement comes from what? Carbohydrate. Now, what are the examples of carbohydrate? What are the examples of carbohydrate? We have got so many examples of carbohydrate, but we have got glucose. Glucose is one example of carbohydrate. Another is galactose. Galactose is another example of carbohydrate. Another is fructose. Another one is starch. All of these are examples of what we call carbohydrate. Now, we are talking about glucose, galactose, and fructose, as well as starch. Now, what are the natural food that can give us glucose, starch, galactose, and fructose? Now, we call it, what are the natural source? One of the natural source is maize. Student, what is this? Yeah, this is maize. So this is one source of what? Carbohydrate. So when you eat maize, or when we make it flour and cook ugali, when now we are going to get what? Carbohydrate. Another is this one. What is the name of this? Yeah, it is Irish potato. This also provides us with what? Carbohydrate. But apart from this, also we've got here Irish potatoes. Also we've got rice. Another example is rice. This is our lovely food we need in our daily life. That is rice. Another one is sugarcane, and others. So these are examples of natural food that can provide us with what? With carbohydrate. Now from there, my dear student, let us go direct to the properties, properties of carbohydrates. What are the features of the carbohydrates? The first feature are some carbohydrates are sweet while others are not sweet. So some are sweet, others are not. So we've got those carbohydrates, those food substances that when you taste it, they are sweet. But we've got those food substances, when you taste it, they are not sweet, but they belong to what? Carbohydrate. Another is that some are soluble in water, others are not. It means that you have got those food substances which, when you take it into water, they dissolve. That is soluble carbohydrate. But you've got those carbohydrates, when you take it into water, they do not dissolve. That is, they are not what? Soluble. Also, some are crystalline. Others are not. So we've got those carbohydrates that are in crystal form. Also, we've got those carbohydrates that are not in what? Crystal form. They are not. So we've got crystalline carbohydrate and non-crystalline what? Carbohydrate. But apart from this, they are derived. They are derived by the same general formula. Meaning that they've got the same general formula, which is carbon, hydrogen 2, and oxygen. Now from this general formula, for example, glucose has got the formula of this one. This is glucose. This is 6. This is glucose. But where does this formula comes from? Comes from the general formula, which is this one. So they've got the same general what? General formula. Are we together, my dear student? Now, from there, my dear student, let us end up on looking on the functions of carbohydrate. What are the functions of carbohydrate? Functions of carbohydrates. What are the functions of carbohydrate, or what are the uses of carbohydrate? The first function is that they are source of energy. They are source of what? Of energy. It means that carbohydrates provide the living organism with energy, which are used to perform different activities. As I said, some of the energy will be used in movement, some of energy will be used in reproduction, some of the energy will be used in excretion, and so forth. So it provides energy that are used in different activities. Apart from that, another function is that they are structural component of cell wall. For example, cellulose. Another function is that they are structural component of the cell wall. It means that they are building block of some part of the cell, that is the cell wall. Some component in the cell wall are made up with what? With carbohydrate. And the carbohydrate that makes that part is known as what? Cellulose. So this is another example of the carbohydrate, that is cellulose. The last function of carbohydrate is that provide food to living organism. For instance, in plant, it provides what? Starch. So act as a source of food in a living organism. For instance, in plant, this carbohydrate provides starch, which act as a source of what? Of food. So my dear friend, my dear student, today we have discussed on the meaning of food substance, groups of food substance that the body needs in order to survive. Also, the carbohydrate in general, that is the introduction of carbohydrate, the properties of carbohydrate, the function of carbohydrate, as well as the examples of carbohydrate. Now, before closing the lesson, before ending up, I would like to give you a question that you are going to attempt for your own. And in the next period, you are going to answer this question before proceeding with the repeats. And this question is as follows. Now take your exercise and a pen and stay quiet listening the question. The question comes, why carbohydrates are said to be important? I'm repeating. Why carbohydrates are said to be important? So, my dear friend, my dear student at home, perform this question, and in the next period, I'm going to give you the answers, and you are going to observe if you are right or not. Thank you for listening. My name is Marcus Kipangure. Thank you.